how to work on your hip extension. So if you saw the video earlier in the week with Coach Austin, he was talking about trying to reduce your shank or eliminate your shank, and how you can do that by improving by not early extending. And what we wanted to touch on is how you can work on that physically in the gym to improve your ability to maintain position to stop that early extension. And so what we talk a lot about sometimes with athletes is early extension tends to happen because the glutes and that posterior chain isn't strong enough to maintain posture. So early extension is a hip extension position or a hip extension problem, but it often happens because the glutes aren't strong enough to maintain that position as we're rotating through the swing. And so we've got some progressions for you. Now the first thing I want every athlete to be able to do is engage their glutes effectively. So we're going to start by coming down onto the ground, and we're going to go lying onto our front. And what I'm looking at here is I want the athlete to be able to engage the glutes and extend the leg, extend the hip without activating the lower back. So this is a great way of being able to test whether you can actually activate your glutes effectively to be able to hip extend. So what we're going to do here, coming down onto the ground, I'm going to lie onto my front. And from here, I'm just going to engage my right glute. I'm going to focus on maybe a little bit of hamstring, but nothing in my lower back. And so I'm going to squeeze my glute, and I'm going to raise my leg, and that's it. I really want to be able to feel that my glute engages, my leg can raise, but my lower back is not taking the tension. So I'm completely relaxing my back, engaging my glute, extending the leg. And I'll do maybe 10 reps here, just relaxing the lower back, engage the glute, extend the leg up. And if I can do that effectively, I'm going to be able to feel that my glutes are engaging, I'm able to extend the leg, and I'm not taking pressure into my lower back. Now from here, I'm going to turn it on over, and I'm going to go lying onto my back. Now what I'm working on here is I'm placing my feet flat onto the floor, I'm bending my knees, I've got my back flat against the floor. I will tilt my pelvis, lower back flat against the floor, and I'm going to work on hip extension by driving my hips up. So it's a glute bridge, driving on up, engaging the glutes and the hamstrings. We want about 70% in the glutes, 30% in the hamstrings. Driving on up, squeeze. I shouldn't be feeling that there's any pressure in the lower back here. So it's all glutes, 70%, hamstrings, 30%. Now if I really want to make this a little harder, I can go single leg. So I can take one foot off the floor and extend. Again, engage the glute, drive on up. This shouldn't be in my lower back. This should be glute and hamstring. Again, that 70-30 rule is typically where we're looking at working. From here, we want to progress this a little bit more, and we're going to go into a tall kneeling position. And so what I'm looking at here is we'll have athletes start sitting onto their heels. If they need to have their toes flexed up, then they can, but they're in this position here. And again, same thing, we're in a tall position, but I'm going to extend my hips towards the target. Again, I'm engaging my hips, driving, squeeze the glutes, work the hamstrings. Shouldn't be any pressure in the lower back. If I wanted to really challenge this position, I'd maybe get a band or a cable or something and attach it behind me to add some resistance. But again, the main focus, what we're working on here, is we're extending the hip towards the target, engaging the glutes, engaging the hamstrings. Okay, it's all about being able to maintain that position, and as we're lowering down, we want to feel that the glutes stay engaged back and forwards. Okay, so the final progression that we would get to is standing. And this is where we're seeing our golfers that are maybe struggling with holding their posture in that upright position or that standing position as they add that rotation. And we can get really complex with these movements, but initially all we're talking about now is creating strength and creating the ability to get into position from a standing position. So once we've gone through our progressions, we'll have our athletes go into a good morning. Now here what I'm going to do is take my feet about hip width, and I'm going to soften my knees. Hands are going to go across the shoulders, and from here I'm just going to hinge on the hip, driving the hips back, loading up into the hamstrings and the glutes, and I'm going to squeeze my glutes, bring myself back up to the top. If I feel like I can't activate my glutes and my hamstrings and I'm getting more pressure in my lower back, there may just be a deficiency that I need to go back a step. So maybe I need to go back down to kneeling, or maybe going back down to the floor and doing the glute bridges. But I really want to be able to feel that I can get my hamstrings and my glutes activating in this hinge. From here, working on my hips coming back to the top. Again, these are great exercises that all athletes should be doing and golfers should be doing, because it's all about being able to maintain that posture as we come through. It's not about that the movement causes this, driving the hips towards the ball. It's more for the fact of we want to see that they can rotate and maintain that posture. And the only way we're going to do that, getting stronger through the glutes, stronger through the hamstrings. If we can do that, we're going to have really strong, robust athletes, and that's what we're looking for. Folks, that's this week's video. Again, we talked about this with early extension with Coach Austin and what we should be doing to try and avoid it in the swing, but this is how you can get better at it from the ground up to make sure that you can extend the hips effectively and not lose that posture. That's this week's fitness video. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back next week with another video for you. I'm Andrew Chadwick, your certified strength coach here at the Academy. Take care.